the Justin Hamilton podcast. I'm coming to you from an undisclosed location, which is Adelaide. And I'm on the road at the moment, doing gigs, etc. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to squeeze this in, but I figured I had a tiny break, so it might not be the longest of podcasts. But I figured I would at least stay up to date with Alien Earth, especially considering we are really close to the big finale, which is next Wednesday. Let's get right into it. Where do we start? This was, of course, always going to happen. This is the Alien franchise. Things always turn to shit at some point, and it is often maybe not even often, maybe 100% of the time, due to arrogance and human feebility. And, it is um, just where we knew we were going to land. We've seen Boy Cavalier is, probably like most geniuses uh, brought up without any kind of parental control whatsoever. And this is why, even though he is quite clearly intellectually brilliant, he is emotionally a child and acts like a child. He's even when he was bamboozling Yutani, he did so in an incredibly immature way, and his desire to just find someone that he can speak to speaks to the breadth of uh, his intelligence, but also the wide gap between his emotional intelligence. He's played out this corporate sabotage. That's what taking down the ship was. And, he uses the fact that lots of lives were lost as an example as an arguing point to get his way. So it is quite fascinating to watch him walking around in his essentially his pajamas, and he's not quite certain what to do, even though he still feels like he is in control. The death of Isaac is, not thought about emotionally. It's more talked about as in losing your latest iPhone, and that's kind of what the hybrids have turned out to be for him. And unfortunately, because he is so self-involved, uh, he doesn't realize that the way he talks is suddenly making someone like Wendy completely reconsider everything that's going on around her. Um, Also, uh, like most intellectual yet immature giants, he cannot perceive being incorrect, and uh, he just kind of wants to pass on the buck to anything, while still at the same time being absolutely obsessed with this uh, this opportunity to speak to an alien that he perceives as being his intellectual equal. Well, he should be careful because, you know, uh, this thing might be beyond him. It's, once Kirsch sort of shows Cavalier the moment that our alien sheep, uh, you know, acted out this whole scenario. Once again, it's his attention span is only taken up with that. Um, when he, shows the first three digits of pi on his palm, and and he says, when he sort of says to the alien, all advanced civilizations would know this figure. So what are the next three numbers? It's there's a way to make that a legitimate question, and he has a level of insouciance that is not only responded with by the numbers being stepped out, as they were, but when the sheep just drops the mother load, um, wow. This is what this alien has over Boy Cavalier. It has a sense of humor. And it is extremely exciting to know that there is, a potential collision course coming on. And there was also that moment where we discussed this a couple of weeks ago that we were hoping that hoping is an unfair word for whoever is the victim of this, but that the alien will get into a human and will be able to do what Wendy has been doing and be able to, you know, communicate with the English language. So, um, he starts talking about it with Adam, and it's like, he wants initially he wants someone with a low IQ, and you just wonder who is he going to put in this place, and will it turn out the way he wants? Um, will it be potentially the dame? Will she be the one who ends up with it in her eye? I think that was my initial guess a week or so ago. But could you do that to one couple in the span of two episodes? One gets a face hugger, the other one gets an eye in its head. Um, who knows? Maybe that is the way that they will go. It would be funny if that was the plan and it ends up going into Adam. Maybe we'll see Adrian Edmondson get taken over by this alien. And for those of you who are old school Young Ones fans, maybe we'll get a little bit of Vivian coming out in this show. Uh, let's talk about Wendy. She has not only been affected by poor Toodle's demise, but is also watching Cavalier's casual dismissal of the hybrid's existence as what does he say? It's a product failure. Once again, getting back to that idea of, you know, the hybrids are just the latest gadget, the latest toy, the latest iPhone. Um, and there's this kind of sense that, she's surprised that they've kind of been told that they're high end and that they're also a sense of immortality, but there is um, you know, nothing is safe in this world. Nothing is ever safe in the alien world. And she is going through uh, not only an emotional growth, maturity wise, but also starting to have that awful moment that we all have at some point as young people, which is uh, we kind of realize that a lot of people in charge are shit and not looking out for the best of us, and to be wary of what people are saying, because um, as a great man once said, it's you're not defined by what you say you do, you're defined by your actions. And so uh, Boy Cavalier is certainly sending a lesson that he doesn't realize that he is, sending to our favorite hybrid. Um, now Wendy knows that she can't trust anyone, and there is quite an emotional moment when she is escaping with Nibs and Hermit, and they find the graves of their original bodies. That's such a small moment, and it is uh, it doesn't linger for too long, but it's an important moment, and it's a situation where Wendy is, maybe at another time there would have been a gentle poignancy with it, but with everything else that's going around and happening to her, and the lessons that she's learning that she wasn't really expecting to learn, I feel like this is so much more important and probably having uh, much more of a deeper emotional and existential effect on who she is as a person. Um, Once again, you know, Wendy tells Nibs and Curly at one point, the boy genius is not your friend, he owns us. And she's starting to define herself as apart from the experiment. And, this kind of allows her to kind of align with Hermit's plan to get away from the island. And it's an opportunity to continue that growth as to being an individual. Um, Poor Arthur. We knew once he got the face hugger on him that it was pretty much game over, man. And it's such a funny moment when the two lads are trying to, almost weekend at Bernie's him away. Interesting that Kirsch sees what's going on and then continues to be the most fascinating character for me as he allows them to not only allows them to continue with their getaway, but also gives them advice on how best to do it. But that very funny scene where Arthur disappears and then the face hugger dropped on the lads, I think their acting was really, in a pretty drastic and full-on episode. I found that to be quite an amusing moment. But once again, there is a real sadness to what happens with Arthur because once he's walking along, they all seem to have this moment of uh, forgetting what's happened to them once they've had the face hugger on them and they've been implanted. And at first, he kind of accepts what the boys are saying, but they're kids, and that's such a sad moment when he talks about kids who are learning to lie. It's a trait that all humans learn at some point, but they're not very good at it. And he doesn't judge them and he doesn't admonish them. He sees this as a learning moment, and the way that he just takes their hands is, once again, there's so many big things in this episode, but it's all the small things that really appeal to me. And the way he holds their hands to walk off. And it's such a shame because you know that this character, if the experiment had been allowed to continue and he'd been in a position where he could continue to look after these hybrids, he would have been such a better influence and role model on their transitions from their previous life to the new life. But, soon he is on the ground and, the classics come out. And when they come out in Alien, they come out through the chest. Uh, of course, the boys still deliver the body to Morrow and his team. That was a great scene of them all coming out of the water. And, you know, uh, they're not really that interested in a dead body. They need the product. So they decide they have to go to plan two and they have to go hunting. Um, Great moment where Kirsch uh, he's set everything up. He's caught the little alien. Um, and the way Morrow, when he's trapped at by the Prodigy security, and he sort of says, this isn't over, and Kirsch retorts, nothing ever is. Um, this is a series about technology and immortality. So my hope is that we get a few seasons at least of this series, and these two are maybe the main players. Maybe these are the two, even though we've got the head of all the different corporations, maybe these two, maybe these are our Professor X and Magnetos of the series. Maybe they are the two real protagonists who we will see continue to play games at each other's expense. Um, Finally, Wendy, Nibs, and Hermit get to the to the escape boat, but they are caught by Siberian and Rashidi. And this does not go well. Nibs finally cracks, and when she cracks, she breaks jaws. And it's just a little reminder that maybe you should never put children in these physical situations where once they snap, they can snap shit. Uh, Hermit is on the side of Nibs and Wendy, but when it looks like that Nibs is about to crush Siberian's head, um, Hermit takes her out with a blast of electricity, and Wendy is not impressed with this. And I would not be getting on the wrong side of Wendy because, well, she has a big Xeno that she is treating like her very own crypto. And you see her when she calls it to protect them, and it is uh, pretty horrifying. We haven't really seen it used as an attack dog in this way before, not that I can think of anyway. Um, so yeah, it's an interesting story choice. I don't know if I'm that into her being able to kind of uh, befriend it in some way, but it is interesting and it is a choice. And I like that it's made a choice. It means that this Alien series is not like the other Alien movies. So I would rather have a choice made that maybe I'm not 100% into than no choices made and just the hits being, you know, reserved, as it were. So, but I'm happy to see where it goes. And I think the key part of this section is the bit where she says, she what does she tell it to kind of keep an eye on them and protect them when needed? And she's like, I think that's what I told him. So, she's still she's still not 100% sure what she's doing. So it'll be interesting to see how this ends up playing out. Um, yes, anything else to add for you? Uh, I don't want to see Boy Cavalier get taken out yet. I'd like to see him around for another season or two, but if he gets taken out next week, I will probably enjoy it. But you didn't want to get rid of Joffrey too soon, and I'm not sure you want to get rid of Boy Cavalier too soon. He's too deliciously annoying to want to lose uh, uh, prematurely. Um, you know, Morrow and his team got taken down or captured pretty quickly. I wouldn't count Morrow out too soon. Um, Kirsch. Once again, I'm curious to know where Kirsch is going to go with all of this, and I wonder if I wonder if Wendy escapes New Siam and takes her little pet with her, because that could be interesting as well. And it'll be interesting to see if there's anything that we kind of get out of this that, we're set, 2 years before Alien, which means Ripley and her crew are in hypersleep out there. So I wonder if we'll see, messages being sent to the Nostromo for Mother to be taking everything into account. I keep forgetting. Uh, I keep forgetting to mention the music at the end, but I love that Queens of the Stone Age album, and the Song for the Dead. It's one of my favorite songs on that particular album, and so um, it it was great to hear that just kick in. I've really enjoyed the music choices in this, and I know some people haven't been as into it, but I don't know. Once again, it's a choice, and I like that Noah Hawley and his team have made a choice. Um, so the thing that so we know there's a large size xenomorph running around. We've got Mr. Eyeball Tentacle Guy, and we haven't seen the Venus flytrap life form for a bit. So I'd be curious to know what's going on with that. And we still have the Fly. Um, uh, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And we've got the little baby xenomorph as well. So yeah, we'll be interested to see where all of these guys get. I wonder if they'll all get out. Be interesting if maybe the next season will be about this island becoming more like the planet that all these aliens were picked up from. Once again, I can't remember. Have we been told it was the one island, or do we the one planet, or are we still hypothesizing that? Jared, when he was on, suggested that it was the one planet, and I quite like that. So we'll see where it goes from here. Um, Oh yeah, and then just I actually forgot to mention this last time, but Corey was talking about on Patreon. He wrote to me and said, "We haven't really talked about H.R. Geiger in and his influence on the Alien series." And I keep meaning to mention this, but I think it's because there's a lot of scary stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff about uh, the body and what it means to be human. And of course, that incorporates some body horror, but there hasn't been the same sort of sexual violence that Geiger's creations created. So, sorry, his artwork created. So, I think that's kind of why it's consistently slipped my mind. Um, it's still present in the fact that it is in the design of the alien. But overall, I think this has not been something that has been focused on as much in this series. So I think that's why we probably not that focused on that. But once again, if we have upcoming series, I'd like to get back into that side of things because that is it's a bit of an important part of the mythology in the first film, anyway, and it's why it's weird to say, but that's why the first film is my favorite because it has so many other levels that make you question things and make you feel awkward. But it was worthwhile bringing up Corey, so I'm glad that I eventually managed to have a little chat about why I think that might not be as prevalent in this series. All right. I'm going to keep this brief. I have a show tonight and I better prep for that. But I didn't want to leave you guys hanging and not keep up to date with our Alien Earth rewatch. So, yeah, so I'll leave it there. As always, as long-time listeners, you can find bonus podcasts, live shows, etc. on Patreon. And if you would like more of my writing, head over to my Substack, where you can find the free blog, which is dispatches from the Fury Road and little bonus things I put there. And then also you can subscribe for a small fee and you can get the ongoing One Foot in the Spotlight memoir that will be an ongoing series about my career and all the things I've learned along the way. So I think the latest post is about some of the comedy acts that had an influence on me at a young age, and then the next part of that will be the comedians who had an influence on me in my teenage years in the 80s, leading up to my first ever gig in 1994. And then the third part is like a little mini series, and then I will talk about my meeting with one of the great Australian comedy acts and how one of those individuals set me on this path that has me here today. So there's a lot going on over there. Also, if you feel like you want to see more of me, head over to the YouTube page, which is slowly but surely being built. But there'll be more stand-up going up there soon. Just getting my hands on some stuff, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, stuff that you don't need to worry about. And then I'll be in Newcastle this upcoming weekend. So if you're looking to catch me in the live arena, you can find all these links. You can find all the gigs at my website, justinhamilton.com.au. Okay, let's get going. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon. Until then.